What I want to show you today is the perimeter drain on this house. Now I've got the foundation wall poured, and I want you to notice two things. One, this outside wall is painted gray. That's a waterproofer that is painted on. Then we've put in the perimeter drain, and that's the main thing I want to show you because that's a little more complicated. So you'll see this black plastic or visqueen. It's usually a 4 mil. Black plastic is nailed to the wall and run into a trench. They hand dig this trench around the building, and we'll run that plastic down under the trench. This trench goes around the entire building here. So if I can get a shot back down in the hole here. Okay, so that black plastic runs down into the trench and up the other side. Then there's a layer of rock, then perforated pipe, another layer of rock on top of it, and landscape fabric on top. It all feeds back to that drain you can see in the corner there. That's a sump pit. From there we can pump the water back out of the house if it gets in. So the point of this is to collect any water that runs down these outside walls during either rainstorms or soil saturation, rise in water table, whatever water might come that would try to get into the basement. Instead, we're going to catch it here in this system, funnel it to that pit in the house, and pump it out manually. Now you can see these couple of pipes that stick up. That's the same pipe that's running around the house. We stick it up into the window wells. That's the same perforated pipe, which just means there's holes in the side of the pipe. And that's wrapped with that landscape fabric too to keep dirt from getting into it. That way, if water is channeled into the window well for whatever reason, it'll act as a drain and pull the water down. I've actually seen window wells filled up completely. It looks like a fish tank, and it's not pretty. Here you can see where the system runs underneath these counterforts. We looked at the counterforts at the video on foundation walls. You can see there they just go under it. So you see the footing and then that counterfort. So they just trenched underneath it. They go all the way around the house. So here's another shot. Just going to continue showing this drain system where it runs around the house again and again. And it follows right against the basement wall. Now that outside wall where you see one wall and then a second wall outside of it, that is the garage wall. We don't have to defend the garage wall against water infiltration because nothing that we're living in is going to be below ground. Now the basement that's below ground is where we are. So between this garage wall and the basement wall, we've got to continue that drain. So it cuts around, there's basement wall. Now we're inside the garage actually. That's underneath the garage floor. And it follows around here. You'll see it just comes to the edge of the garage, turns a corner, and continues down around the house. Once again underneath those counterforts. So that is the system. I'll jump down here in a minute here and get you a shot close, and you can see actually how that's put together. That's the excavation for the counterfort. You can see where they had to use a bucket just to dig that little trench to make that fit. Okay, so now down in the pit itself, you can see the plastic that runs underneath, and here I've scraped back some of the rock, and you can see this pipe. It's kind of like an ABS. It's a drainage pipe. It's not as high a density, but it's got holes drilled in the sides, like 1/4-inch holes, just along the left and right side. That way water can enter, but then it's got a solid surface to run in down the bottom of the pipe. So that's why you can't see them here. But so plastic, then rock, the pipe, more rock on top. And when that's all said and done, we've got this landscape fabric on top to keep dirt from getting into the system. Now this is all open because it does need to be inspected, so I've got this called for an inspection. He'll come out, check a few places, make sure that the slope looks right on that pipe, that it's actually level, because as long as it's level, it's going to run naturally to the pit, which is its only way out. And he's going to make sure that the plastic is up like it should be onto the foundation. So that's it. If you want to reach me, you can look at my website, www.60cubits.com. Here you can email me. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have or entertain any other topics you want me to look at. Thanks for watching.